and I was saying this before, it's like when you wake up and you do that thing, you're becoming the person who always does that thing. You're instilling that habit in yourself. So when I wake up in the morning and my alarm goes off, I get up. So I'm the person who doesn't push the snooze alarm, because that's just the thing that I've created in that habit. And I genuinely love training. So it's not an effort for me. It's not like, oh, why are you doing that on your day off? Or why are you doing that when you're on holiday? I love it. So why would I not do it? And it's just about, for other people, of finding something that they actually do love, that they're going to keep showing up to.
I want to know about your earliest memories getting into training. I want people to know where your passion has come from.
Great question. And I think like earliest memories of growing up as a kid with sports, before it became like such a big part of my life, was probably growing up in a very like outdoorsy way in Canada. So always outside. That was a non-negotiable from my dad. It was like, you are going outside, you're spending the whole day outside. My mom putting me into every sport until I found one that I loved, and that was gymnastics. That really transformed my life. That was like my passion for sport, of loved going there, loved showing up. Then I started coaching at 13, and then it transformed my life in terms of how it changed how I felt about myself, and it changed me as a person. And I think that was the biggest pivotal moment, is when I found gymnastics. Yeah.
How long was you doing gymnastics for?
From 10 to, as a teenager, maybe 6 years, something like that, 6-7 years. And then I was coaching like beyond when I stopped training as well. So I was coaching gymnastics.
What was your performance like at gymnastics?
Not amazing, not super competitive in any way. I started late. I started at 10 and I was tall, but I loved it. So I probably trained 3 times a week. I think each session was 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I was so sporty and active, I was also doing track and field in school. I was doing volleyball. I had a gymnastics team in high school. I played rugby for a couple of years in high school, but my life pretty much revolved around gymnastics. That was like what I was getting dropped off to. That was what I was showing up to work.
Where did you go from when you stopped gymnastics?
I probably had a couple years off where I wasn't doing a sport as an activity, where I was like going to the gym, which I can relate to so many people who I talk to right now, is going to the gym and not knowing what to do. Jumping on a couple machines, maybe using the treadmill or elliptical. And then after that, I found a boot camp class. And then through somebody at work got me into that, and I was doing that 3 times a week. And then that led me into CrossFit.
How old was you when you got into CrossFit?
21, maybe, when I did my first ever class.
Shit, you've been doing it for long.
So then I moved to Australia, and then I didn't pick it back up until like the last year of Australia before I moved here.
What was it about the CrossFit world that you sort of fell in love with?
It gave me the passion that I had from gymnastics. So it gave me that element where I got to do fun things I did in gymnastics, which I loved. And you got to do that as an adult. So I was doing handstands again. I was able to do pull-ups again and have that fun in class. But then it gave me that other challenge, where this is where it's not for everybody. Everybody can do CrossFit, but it might not be for everybody. But it puts you in a really uncomfortable position where you have to challenge yourself and you get out of your comfort zone and you're not good at something right away. And I really enjoyed that.
What do you think your purpose is?
To change people's lives for the better. I really do. Like if I look back at everything from what I was doing at school to in recess, I was the like one outside at recess leading all my friends to like learn a handstand. I was coaching them at recess how to do backflips. I have been a coach before I was a coach, bringing fitness to people's lives. And I should have probably realized it more in school, and I probably would have chosen a different subject to study. But it's funny how I think some people can like learn things, and some people were obviously born with ability, and I was definitely born to be that type of person. If I had a different upbringing, different parents who were like, you can stay inside and watch TV all day, I probably would have taken I don't know, a different path, or maybe wouldn't have gotten into gymnastics, maybe wouldn't have started
Science
coaching.
teacher or something.
Yeah, right. Probably not. But
How long have you been a coach for now?
a long time. I was coaching gymnastics for 10 years, and I've been coaching CrossFit for probably 20 years of coaching. Like how much joy it brings to somebody else when they walk into that space and they are feeling that they are able to get better at something, or they got their first pull-up, or they moved to a heavier dumbbell, or they're seeing an improvement in their body and they're showing up differently. Like that makes me so happy. And it makes me so happy that they're choosing out of everywhere that they could be to be with us at that point in their lives, that they've made that choice to better themselves. It really makes me happy.
Some people listening might think, they probably don't understand what it is about that makes you feel so much joy.
So it relates really well to me because it's changed my life. Because a lot of my siblings, like that I grew up with, they never had that, and I see where they've taken their life, and we have totally different lives, and it's made me show up different as a person. And so I know how it's impacted me, and so I know how it can impact somebody else's life. Like you're not coaching if you don't love to coach, or you don't love helping other people. Like it's normally why you get into coaching.
What do you think your life would be like if you wasn't into training?
Probably a lot less happy.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Because you see people going on that journey, you understand how much is changing their life mentally.
Yeah. Mentally, how much it means to them. So many people I talk to are like, they're not just doing this because of the physical health, but because of their mental health. Because they're so stressed at work. Their life is so busy. It's that 1 hour to themselves that they get to leave their phones to the side, switch off, and just be with themselves.
Since I've met you, when I first see you, I was like, shit, man, you look like a superhero. You know, it wasn't, you know, in terms of aesthetic, in terms of like, you just look like an athlete. And obviously, seeing you and watching you live, training's such a major part of your life, right? And for most people, they would consider it an effort, or you know, sort of digging deep and training hard. They would consider that as like, you know, fuck that in a sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What is it about that mentally and physically really helps you in life? Yeah, because you train every day, right, religiously, and then sometimes you're training twice a day.
Yeah.
And to be able to push yourself constantly, daily, from a training perspective is, for most people, quite
like out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I know that it's not the ordinary, like it's not the average person is doing that, and they think of it like, you know, how do you wake up and do that? It's like I'd never maybe always was that disciplined where I was training how I am now, but it was just, and I was saying this before, it's like when you wake up and you do that thing, you're becoming the person who always does that thing. You're instilling that habit in yourself. So when I wake up in the morning and my alarm goes off, I get up. So I'm the person who doesn't push the snooze alarm, because that's just the thing that I've created in that habit. And it's just the habits, and it's like stacking those small habits. And I genuinely love training. So it's not an effort for me. It's not like, oh, why are you doing that on your day off? Or why are you doing that when you're on holiday? I love it. I have so much fun doing it. So why would I not do it? And it's just about, for other people, of finding something that they actually do love, that they're going to keep showing up to. Whether if you love what you're doing, you're not going to find it an effort or a work to show up and do that thing. It's just finding that thing. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable to do that thing and do that class when you could be sat at home in front of your in front of your TV on your couch. Yeah, I get that. But then what do you want your future self to be like? Like, think of your future self in 10, 20, 30 years. What do you want to look and feel like? How do you want to show up to yourself, your family, your kids?
Talk to me about how your training has developed or changed since you've moved from CrossFit, and then since you've been coming into the Jab ecosystem.
Obviously, I love CrossFit, and that's been my life for 10 years, and I need to be with the members as much as possible, trying next to them. So I've been doing I should be doing more boxing because George says that, I need to be working on that. But I love the strength classes, and it's what I've been doing 4 times, probably strength classes 4 times a week. And I love how they're set up with upper and lower body days. And then I've been doing, still a couple CrossFit workouts, every single week. But the crazy thing that I've noticed the most is from doing all the single leg and single arm work is like my gymnastics has never felt better.
Really?
It's never felt better.
Shit, that's interesting.
And I was doing a workout the other day and I was doing some bar muscle ups and I was like, my bar muscle ups have never felt this good ever in a really long time. So gymnastics, feeling much better without actually having to do much of that, without being able to do it like multiple times a week, has been amazing. Body composition has changed again. So from doing the train classes, from doing a couple tweaks with my nutrition, dropped a little bit body fat percentage, which is not something that was like a goal of mine, but just happened.
Yeah.
And had been able to carry on with like strength wise, like dumbbells are just going up. But I think the biggest thing that's crossed over is from doing a lot of single arm and single leg strength.
Your passion for training and that love was something that I felt instantly. And that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to poach you.
I've been trying.
I wanted our members to have, and not only our members, myself, to have someone that was inspiring, someone that had that passion for training and could help people be accountable and understand how to get there, right? Mm-hmm. Since you've come on and you've been part of Jabs, how do you think that you've made an impact to people's lives and why?
I would say being present with them. So the biggest thing that I can do since the transition is be there with the members. So that's working out next to them in class. That's seeing them as they enter, seeing them as they leave, checking in on them, messaging them, the consultations that I'm doing with them. But the biggest thing is being with them in class. And then they say, oh my God, you were lifting that weight, or you did this, or I want to, come lift next to you. And it's like those are the biggest moments. Because if they see somebody else doing it, who's talking to them about helping them with their nutrition, their recovery, their mindset, and they see me doing it next to them, it's like, it makes such an impact on their lives. So hopefully I'm making an impact on their life in a positive way, but also having conversations with them that they potentially don't get with anybody else in their life.
What's the main thing that you're looking out for when you're having these conversations with members?
How they're fueling themselves, how many times a week that they're training, and what they're doing those other 23 hours that they're not with us. So they're there for mostly 1 hour with us. So what happens in their life in those under 23 hours? Because that's the biggest impact on why they're not seeing those results that they want to see.
And from a strategic perspective and a philosophy perspective, what are the main things that you're trying to get them to achieve whilst they're, go on that journey with you?
What their realistic goals are, like how much that they can realistically invest into their training, and then what they realistically want out of that. If they're only can come in and train 2 times a week, it needs to be a realistic of, okay, well, if that's your goal, is that going to happen by training 2 times a week? And if you still want to eat, drink X, Y, and Z, making those expectations clear to them. Like they're going to have to make some sacrifices if that's what they want to achieve.
Talk to me about the performance membership. I want to sort of delve into a little bit about the performance membership, what we're creating there and how you think it can be so impactful for people and what we've been working on the back end.
It's going to be really unique to Jab because they're going to have not only their consultation with myself or another team member on the performance team, but then they're going to have the opportunity to get their blood work done. And with the blood work, they're going to then meet with somebody, a functional medicine practitioner, that they're going to have it read, give it a protocol based on them as an individual and what their goals are. And then from there, they're going to have like multiple check-ins with me throughout the year, and then another check-in in 6 months down the time with another blood work done. So it's going to be great for those people who are like, I want to dive into my health and wellness a little bit more. I'm not seeing the results that maybe I should be seeing for what I'm doing. Or just somebody who's like, I think I've got some intolerances. I'm not quite sure what's going on at the moment. I would love to have that opportunity to really like dive into my health and know what's going on with my body. And then, so, hello? But,
Hold on, mate.
okay, lots left.